Hi friends, and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be embroidering a flower, which is an alcatraz. You can see the stitching is already done and they look like little mini flower buds. And the pistil of the flower uses a French knot for the embroidery. And this is a method you can use in any type of flower or baskets or fruit or anything you want. It's just a really pretty stitch and I hope you guys like it. So let's get started, guys. For this we're going to need two different colors of thread, one lighter and one darker. I've already fixed my thread in the back of the cloth and we're just going to get started making very large stitches. So we're going to fill in the entire flower with this color and then we'll come back to the next step. Keep in mind the needle is single threaded, so there's not so much to wind up. Alright friends, so we're just going to continue filling in our alcatraz flower just like this. And I'm just going to finish up here filling in and I'll be back in just a few minutes to show you guys the next step. Alright friends, as you can see I'm just finishing up here. And if you check here you can see I've just left a very tiny outline along the outside of the flower, which is going to be our border, and defines the shape of the alcatraz. So the outline is going to end up being a darker shade because what we don't want is to just have a big blob. We really want to have that defined shape of the alcatraz. So it looks like a nice, well-defined flower shape at the end. Alright, so I'm just going to finish up filling in with this color and then we'll move on to the next stitch. Alright friends, so as you can see, I've just finished up filling in the flower, which I did in 3 sections. First I did this one, and then this section, and this one. As you can see, I left the division that contours the shape of the entire flower. So when we come back and finish up with our outline in a darker color, we have that nice defined shape. And we don't lose the form of this alcatraz. I hope you get what I'm saying, guys. Okay, so I already have the next color ready to go and fixed in the back. We're going to make horizontal lines across the entire outline of the flower. And for the space in between each stitch, you're going to want to keep about 1/2 centimeter more or less. So it'll look something like this all around the flower. And just mind the center section where we're going to have the pistil of the flower in a yellow shade. So we're going to embroider that in a different color and use the French method. So we won't put horizontal lines over this section. I do it this way because I don't want it to look like a big blob of a flower. I really am going for that well-defined outline so we have that distinctive alcatraz shape. Alright friends, I'm going to continue making these horizontal lines all across the flower in this section, and then in this section and this section. And then in the next step we're going to make the vertical lines. So I'll finish up here and I'll be back in just a few minutes with you guys. Alright friends, I'm back. I've finished up the horizontal lines and now we're going to move on to the vertical lines in each section of the flower. Just like that, we'll continue filling in the flower. And when we're done with that, friends, we'll finish up with the final stitch. I'm going to finish filling this in and I'll be back in just a second. Alright, I'm going to finish this up and I'm going to finish filling this in and I'll be back in just a few minutes with you guys to show you how to do the final stitch. So now you can see we've got a grid on the entire flower. We have the vertical lines and the horizontal lines also finished. So now to the final step. So here I've already got a needle ready to go and it's a double threaded needle. So now on to the sewing method. So we want to pass over the vertical stitch and under the horizontal stitch. So we're just going to keep going around here making a kind of flower bud. You see how it just wraps around this tiny cross in our grid. So now this one's finished and we'll continue moving on. You see? So we just continue. And you see here we have a nice little flower bud. So now we'll go on to the next step and make the next one. So you're pushing down the vertical stitch and lifting the horizontal stitch. So we're just going to keep going on in this way and then go on to the next one. So here you see another little flower bud and now we'll move on to the next one. Remember, the vertical strand is getting lowered and the horizontal strand is getting lifted. The one we go under is going to be the one that's getting lifted. And now we just need to continue winding the thread around the little cross, the little grid lines. And now onto the third one. And just continuing with the stitching. So in this way, we're going to fill in the entire flower, making a little bud at each grid line. Alright friends, I'm going to continue doing this, and at the end I'll come back and we'll finish up with the back stitch to outline the entire border by filling in all the blank spaces we left. And at the end I'll show you how it turns out. Alright friends, I'm back, and as you can see, I've already finished the previous stitching across the entire Alcatraz flower. And I've also already gone around the entire outline of the flower, just going in with a back stitch to give the border. So now we're going to go in with a yellow color, and we're going to use the French method to fill in the pistil of the flower. And we're just going to fill in the entire pistil with French knots here. Just give 2 turns of the tip of the needle, and then we pass back through pulling down. 2 turns of the tip of the needle, and then insert the needle and pull through. Continuing. And just continuing in this way until we finish up the flower. Alright, so as you can see, everything's wrapped up and we have finished our beautiful Alcatraz flower. You can see the stitching is all complete, and this is the final flower, the final product. So I'm just going to turn this over and pass the needle through the embroidery so we don't have to make any knots. Finished. We'll just cut the string here, and here's how it turned out. Here's how our lovely Alcatraz looks when it's all finished up. As you can see, I have already gone in with the back stitch and completed the border of the flower. So it has that nice delineation and a well-defined shape. So friends, that's it for today. You can use this stitch in really any project you like, any flower or type of fruit you want to use this in. The only question is how you're going to use it. Alright friends, that's it for today, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you guys in the next video.